Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog. This is going to be an exciting session today. We're going to be talking to ACV Auctions. With the COVID and all the things that's happening in our world today, uh, what are you doing with your trade-ins? Where are you buying and selling inventory? This is a very important subject. And my guests today, what do you see? Good friends of mine. Here they come. Pam, Patton, and Mike Waterman from ACV. Hi, guys.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Well, thank you.
Greetings from New Hampshire, Jim. How are you?
You're in New Hampshire.
Yeah, little snow around us today.
We got a little snow in Pittsburgh as well, so it's coming around.
Well, we might even get some here in Atlanta, believe it or not. See,
Well, you can have it. We're happy to truck some down to you if you guys have a snowball fight or something. Just let us know. We can get something down to you.
well, would you like some snow? I can. No problem. If you need some, I got some.
It's getting colder by the minute.
ACV Auctions. We'll chat a second while the audience builds up. We're live on about 3 social channels right now. Pam, what do you do at ACV?
I am the newest vice president of ACV Auctions, and my role will be to handle the center of the country. So basically Pennsylvania all the way over to Nebraska. So I'm not very busy, I would say, right?
What do you do at ACV?
So, well, it started out where I was really just the custodian, Jim. I worked my way up. I was cleaning the bathrooms and doing some other things in Buffalo with great success. No, just kidding. I'm the chief sales officer, so I get to, head up the team of exceptional people like Pam and thousands, I can say thousands now, thousands of others, which is really kind of surreal when I say it, considering where we started just, 5 short years ago. So we've been very blessed to this point.
I have watched this organization grow from hundreds to thousands to regional to coast. It's incredible how you've grown and the logistics of the services you guys offer. Any dealer that doesn't sign up with ACV Auctions, to me, it's a no-brainer. If you don't sign up today, you have no brain.
Well, see, you can get away with that sales pitch. A lot of times when we do it, it doesn't get met with the same kind of response. But no, I mean, it really boils down to just, over 5 years ago when Joe Neiman started this company with Dan Magnashevsky and Jack Greco and a couple others, it was, the vision was very clear. The timing, just worked out, but we weren't there yet. If you just look at it wholesale in general, that was this has been the last place to shine the light on. You think about, you've worked with a lot of inventory management systems. You've worked with the rapid recons back in service, and the DMSs have tried to come around and provide better data in better ways that we can manage our showroom, manage our fixed ops. But I mean, you think about that, wholesale's always been kind of in the shadows, right? And especially when it comes to technology. So what they were just trying to do is, number one, make it easy, but most importantly, making it more transparent than it's ever been.
Transparent and fluid.
Yeah.
Fluid. I have looked at your processes, and we're going to talk about what is ACV, why is ACV, why it's superior, and why I personally endorse it. Mike, you've known me for a while. Pam, you just met me, but I don't readily endorse any vendor. I mean, that's not something I do, but I wholeheartedly believe in ACV. I've seen the results. My dealers are overwhelmingly enthusiastic about ACV. So I'm aboard. So, Mike, first of all, tell me, what is ACV? Tell me what you do.
Well, so, when you look at, first start with the name, because I thought this was the most, probably one of the first brilliant choices that Joe Neiman and team made when they founded this company was, all of us that have been in the car business a long time know exactly what ACV means. It's the most important part of our business. It's actual cash value.
And it's
Right?
where you can lose
Cash
more money than any other part of the sale, the operation. If a dealership tanks, it's usually in used car wholesale.
Mm-hmm. Yep. ACV is the three of the most important letters that we probably have in our industry. So, but bringing it together, and let me just give you kind of how it evolved. I mean, really, Joe came into this really from a buyer's perspective, just frustrated with what was available to be able to buy cars from all over, right? All of us have gone to auctions before, and look, I've worked for auction companies. They're wonderful, wonderful venues, wonderful people. I'm not the type to knock anybody, but our business, if you look at what we've become and what we need to be, is nimble, easy, and everywhere. Right? I mean, if you think about those three things, how do you even accomplish that? Well, you have to be digital to be everywhere, right? That's just, and it helps if you want to be nimble to be digital, because having a digital platform and being able to go to any dealer anywhere in the country and provide the buyer with consistent and transparent condition reports that are not only, just your standard pictures and paint meters and all those good things, but actually undercarriage, recordings of the motor. Having a platform that's 90% green light is exceptional. And then you start to think about it from the seller side. And Jim, you've been through this. And Pam has as well. And many people watching this video. The thought of a truck pulling up and taking hundreds of thousands of dollars of my assets away from me, many miles away, where I won't be able to keep my eye on them anymore. And they could be gone for days before they turn into cash. And then,
or you have to hire this army of retired guys to drive them for you.
Yeah. It's always been about, you kind of feel like you lose a little bit of control, right? When you don't have those assets there, you're not in total control. And honestly, you think about the days when I'd send cars to the auction. I never brought them back. I mean, very rarely would you spend the money to ship them there, ship them back. Once they're gone, they're gone. And to me, that puts you at a disadvantage of what you would be willing to accept from a money perspective. So if it's a good or bad,
you would take less rather than haul them back and have to haul them back again.
So just the fact of keeping complete control of that inventory without it leaving, without having that additional shipping and that movement.
Without it leaving, what do you mean?
Without it going somewhere to be sold.
The unit stays on your lot.
Stays there. So you always have control.
So you never lose control, and you don't have any transport fees.
Exactly.
And when somebody buys it, what happens to it? Pam, what happens to the unit when they buy it?
So if the unit gets sold, then you have ACV Transportation, which is right there within our app or our desktop. So you can select that.
App. Okay, we haven't talked about your app yet. Everybody's got an app. There's an app for that. Okay. So ACV's got an app. And
yes.
And buy, sell, and what, a 20-minute auction?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you transport the vehicle?
If they choose that, they can pick it up themselves if they want as well.
You take. Wow.
So the beauty, Jim, is when you download the app on your phone, right? If anybody on here goes to acvauctions.com, our sign-up process is very easy. It takes less than 10 minutes. So you can download the app. And at that point, sellers and buyers are instantly connected to our marketplace. And what that entails is all day, every day, we're launching thousands of auctions all across the country into these 20-minute auctions. We have the ability for buyers, and this is what I like the most about both sides of the equation for us, and the way that our app works and the way that our platform works for both sides of our marketplace. From the buy perspective, you don't have to go chase cars anymore. You can set up filters and the alerts. So basically a car that you need. So if you needed a specific Toyota, Jim, on your lot today, you can set filters. So we would let you know when that car came available. So cars will find you. That's going to make you a lot more efficient in your time.
Cars will find the buyer instead of the buyer waiting for that car to come across the block.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And you think about the amount of time that in itself could give back to you, give back to anybody in the store, to where you could be TOing deals and just doing things that you're really, really good at, and what most dealerships want their best people doing, and that's talking to as many customers and TOing as many deals as possible, right? Training your sales staff, all of those things. It frees up an enormous amount of time. And by having our inspectors, right, do the inspection, we train every one of our inspectors.
Wait a second. Now you've introduced something else. Your inspectors.
Mhm.
Okay. Now these inspectors, you have to take the car to the inspector, and the inspector look and then bring it. You take the car to the inspector, right?
No,
No.
we
Pam?
bring the inspector to you.
The inspector, I knew the answer. Okay. Okay. The inspector comes to the dealership, and how much do you have to pay to have the car inspected?
My favorite number in the car business, Jim, 0.
Wait a minute. The inspection of the car is free, so they do a little 5-minute walk around and they're done, right?
It's about 35 minutes.
Yeah,
they
go ahead.
take-
I'll let you take that one. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Take
it's
photos?
about 35 minutes. We do a full inspection. It doesn't matter if the vehicle is a $300 vehicle or it's a $50,000 vehicle. It's the same process and it's consistent. And again, for us, it's about the trust and transparency. So a buyer knows that we're going to go through this vehicle thoroughly. Okay. On top of it, it doesn't matter if it's red light or green light. We're still going to go through that same process for them.
So you will send your inspector inspects the car, and I know something else. They also take photos, correct?
Correct. And we take a lot of photos.
50?
So it's interior, exterior. We're really going through as if you were going through the lane. You're going to be able to see that detail. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. You can see all the things that you need to see as if you were standing.
I bet you, since the company came out of Buffalo originally, they take undercarriage photos.
You are absolutely correct. We have 2 patent pending, but that our R&D team came up with. One of them being equipment called virtual lift, which everybody on this call and anybody that's ever bought a car, we'd love to be able to put every car, every trade appraisal up on a lift. I mean, what an advantage that would be, right? So basically, our development team came up with a device that we drive over it. And it takes over 3,000 pixels, puts them into one high definition photo that's included on every condition report. And then from an engine perspective, we have another patent pending piece of equipment called audio motor profile, which it's a cradle that our team built, special microphones. We sit on the cradle, sit on the engine block, and we'll record the engine at a cold start and then at idle, and up to 3,500 RPM. So you can hear it start, idle, and rev. So if it's a 2012 Equinox and you hear that tick, 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 you know what that is, right? I mean, everybody that's bought cars and buys cars, you get to know what things sound like. And, when you appraise something or you're looking to buy something, okay, I'm going to need to replace this and this based upon these noises. But when you think about the 2 things, Jim, in our industry, the reason why we went in those areas very, very quickly is when you look at digital platforms, the 2 biggest headaches are engine noise and frame damage, or undercarriage that you can't see. Somebody did something to the cats, right? They either cut them off or they modified them. And then you get a dealer in California or somewhere in a state that has very, very strict rules on what you can do with a catalytic converter. Now you get a problem. Instantly have a problem, right?
Okay, so let's talk about the setup fee. I mean, I know you get all these hidden costs. What's the setup? Some vendors like yourself probably 3, 4, 5, 25,000. What is the setup fee to get started with you guys?
0. It is as simple as a dealer license and a resale certificate. And both of those,
they got to have a tax ID, a dealer license, and a resale certificate.
No setup fee, no connectivity of anything to do with money whatsoever.
They just got to prove you're a dealer.
Yeah, I mean, really, what we consider it as a success fee is that these inspections and this equipment and everything that we have out in the field today to make the platform the most trusted and very transparent for a buyer. So a seller gets the advantage of having a bigger audience because buyers are more comfortable buying on our platform because of the transparency of our condition reports. But nobody pays a dime unless the car gets sold. No. So, it's and it helps us put skin in the game as a partner, for us to come out to your store, Jim. If you had 20 cars that you wanted to sell tomorrow, we're going to do everything we can to sell as many of those cars as we possibly can, because if we don't get paid.
You only charge the dealer, the buyer or the seller, if the car is sold.
Correct.
So the buyer and the seller only pay for okay. Once the car is sold, what happens to the car? What do you come get it?
No, what happens if they chose our transportation, which, as Pam mentioned, is in the app. So the other part, as you're shopping as a buyer, you know where the car is and you know what it would cost you if you wanted to use our transportation to hook you up and bring it home. Okay. The second piece is if you choose your own. So you would get a gate pass once you pay for the car. So it release it. So if you picked our transportation, we would immediately dispatch to have that vehicle brought from seller to your front door. If you choose your own, you would make those arrangements. With that gate pass, you would send on to your transporter. They would go pick the car up from the seller. Very, very simple.
That's one point I wanted to get out. I wanted to get that into conversation because my dealers, the dealers I work with, transporting cars right now, they can't find the transport companies.
Yep.
So you have a transport company available as part of your, well, not a company, it's part of your operations. Is that correct?
Yes. We have ACV Transportation.
Okay,
correct.
so you got ACV Transportation.
Important. So if you want to buy a car, in Boston and you want to send it to California, we can make that happen.
That's what I wanted to get out, because I've got dealers that are buying and selling cars but can't get them and can't transport them because COVID has really changed the whole paradigm.
Yep.
So
well, and it brings up and if you don't mind, Jim, I'll use that as kind of a segue, because one of the things that and I hate to say it, but COVID has, us being a digital kind of platform, COVID probably pulled this, this evolution of this change ahead a few years, because when you think about everything that we just talked about, having our inspectors go to the location of where the car's at, so right from the dealer's front door, we can give the seller A-lane type of experience, right? And you know what the A-lane means at every brick and mortar. It's the best, most beautiful real estate. It's the best time to run. It's the best lane. You get all the audience. And we can do that every day, all day, right?
been there.
Exactly. But when you look at, immediately when COVID hit, we put some major protocols in place from a safety perspective, not only for our teammates, but to protect our partners. Because you got to remember, we have a lot of folks that go dealer to dealer. So the last thing we ever want is to have our team or be part of the spread of this COVID, right? So we put in some very, very strict protocols about how we handle keys. First of all, we try to go to zero human contact, which we're successful, overwhelming majority of the time. So therefore, it just comes down to getting the keys and doing our thing, and then returning the keys after disinfecting and so on and so forth. So it's been a very interesting year, I think, for everybody, right? You look at everything that we've been through. But those protocols, and always the reason why I've always been so, I got in this business like everybody else, kind of on accident 32 years ago. It'll be 32 years in February. And I think what keeps me coming back is just, well, first of all, it's a lot of fun. No 2 days are ever the same, right?
No.
But when you start to get into whether it's the software side, wholesale, retail, any piece of our business, inventory management, you start to meet just exceptional people, some of the best business people I think you could be around. And that's, and I'm sure, and Pam will agree, it's better than any master's degree I think you could go and get, or to keep going to school. When you pay attention to the smart people around you, and there's a lot of smart people in the car business.
There really is. Yes, absolutely.
You look at an industry that, assets, well, just look at COVID and what it did to the value of a $20,000 car. right? It shifted 30%, over the course of a few weeks. And as an industry, we're out there, trying to adjust to this, right? And everybody figured it out. Now the market's starting to settle back. Supply and demand are getting a little more evened up, right? Everybody's learning how to think about Pennsylvania and Jersey and early on where they just shut down. Now, okay, you got to go to 100% digital showroom, right? And think about all the dealers who spent millions and millions of dollars on these beautiful mausoleum type showrooms. And within 48 hours, majority of them were opened back up with an online digital only process.
What I call concierge sales.
That's some smart people,
Concierge sales. They're delivering cars at home. They're starting to transact online. All sorts of new things coming. And now, one thing, 20% of cars today have a bad Carfax. Carfax makes some of these cars look a lot worse than they are. You can have cosmetic damage and it looks like they had a major wreck.
Yep.
So you're sending your inspectors out. See, that's what I like. The inspector shows up on site. All the dealer has to do is prove they are a dealer. Show your dealer's license one time, show your tax ID, show if you have the ability to sell in that state, and you will do business with ACV. And you'll send an inspector out to the dealership. Do the inspectors go anywhere besides the dealership to look at a car?
Actually, they do. So what's great is sometimes, especially during COVID, a consumer doesn't want to come to the showroom today, right? They're just not comfortable in that space. We can actually do a live appraisal for a consumer at home through the dealership. So the dealer can let us know and say, hey, guess what? This customer doesn't want to come. Guess what? We can set up our inspectors to go to that house, still be COVID safe.
Your inspector will inspect a consumer that doesn't want to come into the dealership, what I call a concierge sale, where they go to the home.
Exactly.
And that's wonderful. I mean, see, I know how much innovation you have, but what I'm saying is the buyers and the sellers can trust the evaluation and the report that your inspectors put out. If it's got a Carfax that says it's been in a wreck, was it really a frame damage wreck or was it a cosmetic fender bender?
Yeah. And I tell you, Jim, that was one of our first acquisitions. Being a startup, you need to grow up first before you can start looking into acquisitions. But we found a company that was very interesting to us when we bumped into them out of Fort Lauderdale called True Frame. And a great group of people. They already had a fairly good sized inspection team in place. And basically what True Frame does, and they're the only ones that do this, they have the ability to put the no into what a Carfax report is. So it'll give you the variation of, was it hit by a shopping cart or a freight train, right? Because those are two very important, distinctive things that make a huge difference on the value of the car, right? And an overwhelming majority of those bad Carfax or bad auto checks, as people refer to them, is just the fact that at some point in that car's life, something was reported to the police, to an insurance company, that there was a fender bender in the grocery store parking lot, and lo and behold, there was a police report filed. Lo and behold, 3-4 weeks later, guess what? There's that triangle with the black exclamation point now on that VIN number because accident reported, right? So consumers do what? I'm not going to buy that, or I'm going to buy that for a lot less than what you're asking for it. So what our team is able to do, and what True 360 was, True Frame, this company out of Fort Lauderdale, was train inspectors to go in and look at pillars, mounts, frame. And they go in and do this thorough inspection, which gets posted right to the dealer's website. So if you have a Carfax car, and here's that Carfax sign, here's the True 360 report right next to it. And so the consumer can see, look, this car still scores a 98, 99. So if there was damage, we will tell you, and it'll be right in our certification for True 360, this car is fine. And it'll give them a breakdown, pillar by pillar, piece by piece, a very detailed inspection report that, by the way, since we've picked up the company and we've been tracking this, and everybody on here that does any type of digital retailing, this number will blow you away. The average amount of time that a consumer spends on our True 360 report on the VDP is over 4 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Let's talk about the app. Now the auction happens on the app. Is that true?
Correct.
Desktop or app. So either one, whatever your preference is, it works both ways.
It can happen on the desktop or on the app. Okay,
Yep.
so you mentioned earlier the car goes looking for the person looking for the car. You know, if you put in I'm looking for this kind of car, you'll get some sort of alert as an ACV customer that car is coming up on the.
Yeah.
Is it real bidding in real time? Real bidding?
Oh, absolutely.
Real time, but it only lasts 20 minutes. That's the beauty of it. So as a seller, you know if your car's sold in 20 minutes.
Remember, it could go longer.
It could go longer if we have a bidding frenzy where the buyers get emotional, and then at the end of the 20 minutes, it would reset for an additional minute. So one extra minute would allow that
20 minutes,
on, and it could go 40 minutes, right?
So you've got ACV people watching the auction and interacting with the auction, and helping the buyers and the sellers get together.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have concierge account management teams that work on the inside, Jim. So pre and post auctions, we do our best to alert.
Slow down. You said post auction. So once the auction's over, the team is still working with the buyer and the seller.
Yeah. So if you get, a lot of times in these digital auctions, buyer and seller will get close. They'll get within a few $100s. Our inside team looks at those post auction as they're happening, and they do their best to bring those two groups together so nobody loses out on an opportunity. And we do it, hundreds of times every day. They're a great team.
I bet you're helping dealers move, 50, 60 cars a month?
Sometimes more.
If you look at your average dealer, and what they have in wholesale, and most of our partners, we ramp up. It's funny, we'll start with a few cars here and there, and then they'll get a.
I'm talking about ACV nationwide. You're moving 50, 60 cars a month?
Well, you can add some zeros to that, Jim. We're
I'm asking a question to which I know the
answer. 4 or 5 zeros added to our number since I've been here, which has really been exciting.
Mike, I just pitched you a softball and you stuck out. I appreciate in other words, ACV is only helping dealers move 50 or 60 cars a month nationwide. Is that true?
Here's what we'll say, Jim. The goal is we are going to inspect every car in America. That's the goal. So we're not there yet. We're going there.
But you're headed there. Every car in America. How many people do you have in the field approximately? You got 1,000?
A little over 700.
Actually, we're a little over 1,000 now in the field. When you look at our inspection teams, we have territory managers and different levels of interaction, both for dealers and dealer groups. When you look at it, Jim, I think the last time you and I spoke a couple years ago when Joe Neiman and I were down in Florida and we did one of these, I think we were around 30-ish territories, and we're almost 5 times that size now. So, by early next year or Q1, we'll be in that 140, 150 range of territories across the country. So
I have watched your growth. I have been. It's been amazing to me to see the growth, and nobody's bailing out on you. The acceptance is incredible. One of my good friends, Jeffrey Schreier, just showed up on this broadcast. Big independent dealer in Omaha. So
yeah, we've been in Omaha for I think 3 or 4 months now, and it's been amazing how quickly things have taken off. And we love independence. So Jeffrey, great to see you, and thanks for joining us on here. But that's the big thing, Jim. We have part of our goal is to be able to give every dealer, whether they're top 150 major dealer group, whether they're a privately held group, whether they're a single mom and pop, whether they're a large indie or small indie, give everybody the same type of access and opportunity to buy and sell cars.
So a lot of Indies are doing business with ACV is what I was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That was my next question.
Our buy fees, and I'll gladly, because these are right on our website. If you're on here right now, you can go to acvauctions.com and just click on pricing. I think we're the only auction company that publishes our fees. We got nothing to hide.
What is about $800 a unit? 800 a unit?
No, we cap out at $350. So you think about what's really interesting. And I actually had somebody, I had a dealer I haven't met yet outside of Seattle, up in Washington State, who bought a Range Rover for a lot of money and couldn't believe, actually thought he was trying to get a hold of somebody, and he got my email off the website. Figured he'd start here, right? That's fine. But he figured there was something wrong with his gate pass because the buy fee was only $350.
And that's green light. That's green light. That's
$70,000 car. Before I go pick this car up, I just want to make sure I need to know what the buy fee is. So, and Jim, it took me 3 texts and 1 phone call to convince him. No, it is just $350.
In that $350, what services? Because that's the deluxe package. I mean, there are actually less expensive packages they can buy from you.
Oh, we start at $50. Yeah, it's all based on the price of the car. Yeah.
I mean, anything from $50 to $350. $350 is everything.
What service you're going to pay? Yeah, $20,000.
What services do they get for $350 a sold unit or a bought unit?
Yeah, well, you get the backing. Like I said, 90% of our time of our Go Green program, which and Pam, I've been doing too much of the talking. If you want to walk them through the Go Green program, because this, Jim, is something that we started, that others have kind of followed. But this was really, to me, the game changer, where we were raising our hands saying, hey, look, we believe in our CR and we believe in the inspectors that we've trained. And I'll let Pam kind of walk you through the program.
Pam, what is the green light package? What is everything?
So Go Green is literally for a seller. As long as the vehicle is running and driving and it's under 200,000 miles, we're going to go green we're going to green light that vehicle, even where maybe other auctions would red light it. So we're going to put our stamp of approval because our inspectors have gone through that vehicle. We have found everything we needed to basically state on it. And that's it. So if let's just say there was an engine issue or a transmission issue, if that dealer signed up for Go Green, the seller's never going to find out about it. We will handle that with the buyer and take care of it. So we're stamping our approval.
What assurances are involved in the ACV green light?
No, basically, Jim, just to kind of simplify it without going into, okay, here's NAAA, here's ACV. Basically, if we miss something on the inspection, we're going to eat it. I mean, it boils down to, we trust our inspectors to go out and describe the car correctly. And if a buyer calls up and says, hey, look, I found this, this, and this, and we go out there and we see, you know what, you're right. We missed a couple of things. Shame on us. What can we do? How do you want to handle it? You want to unwind it? What can we do? And work out a number and all those good things. But it gives everybody a little more peace of mind that at least we're trying, right? We're not perfect, and we're not perfect yet. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but we're smart enough to know that we're not perfect. And we're smart enough to know when those opportunities come up, when we do miss something, let's find out what we missed. Let's find out how we missed it. And a lot of times, Jim, this is why Virtual Lift was built. This is why Audio Motor Profile was built. This is why we have a pre-screening team in Buffalo now for our new inspectors. So before they can launch a car, we have more people look at that CR to make sure it's up to the level of expectation of our clients before it goes live. And if our pre-screeners find something that's not up to speed, it goes back to the inspector. They go back, they fix it, then it makes it through the process. So it's just about that level of transparency. And I know some people think they hear it a lot from us, and maybe they think it's corny, but the more transparent we can get and the better we can get at our condition reports, the better off it is for us as a company too.
Well, once again, let's go back to the very basics. Pam, the dealer doesn't pay anything unless a car is bought or sold.
There's no downside.
Nothing to
And
lose.
that's it.
Why isn't every dealer in the universe on this program?
I think we've got dealers that are, they've been doing it the same way for 30 years, right? But and again, they have relationships elsewhere. The difference right now is we are also having relationships. And right now, the partnership between ACV and any buyer and seller is the most important thing that we're doing right now. And again, Mike said it perfectly. We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect. We know that. And there's going to be title issues. There's going to be a payment issue. There may be transportation issues. But it's how fastly and promptly we can get that fixed and handled. And that's it. That's what the team's going to bring to the table. Is
46 years ago, Pam, Mike, 46 years ago, when I first got in the car business, a guy walked in the showroom at Superior Nissan in Jacksonville, and he had a big ass cowboy hat on, and he had a big belt buckle, and he had Western boots and blue jeans and little pearl buttons and pointy stuff on his shirt. And I said, "Who is that guy?" And they looked at him and said, "He's either a cowboy or a wholesaler." The business has changed.
Well, it's
you're going to use that one.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I think there's still some of those fellows around, Jim. And God bless them. Yeah. But you bring up what's interesting is with this kind of transformation going on to digital, I don't wish any of those folks ill will. I mean, you think about how we've built up this industry, and none of us would be here without the auctions and the wholesalers and independent dealers and franchise dealers. I mean, all of it. Everyone's had their purpose, and everyone's been a cog in the wheel. And we just look at ACV as just the next. This is the next version, right? This is how we become more efficient. You think about what COVID did to everybody. Everybody's working with less people and trying to do it with less expense, but deliver the same amount of volume or more that you were doing during COVID, right? So how do you find areas and ways to do that, right? You can't have, if you want a manager to be effective, you can't have them spending 3 days at the auction or 2 or 3 days, out, repping cars or trying to buy cars. You need them in that showroom, training your sales staff, TOing customers,
The integrity of the used car department. Where the used car manager or the pre-owned manager, we got socially conscious, the pre-owned manager, so they are doing their job, which is managing a pre-owned department more than they're managing inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, if a dealership tanks, 90% of the time they tank because they're upside down in inventory.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
I've been around 46 years, and I've worked with some of the biggest dealerships in the country, and I have seen some of the biggest dealerships in the country go completely under in hard times because they mismanage their wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have I told a used car manager, get rid of that unit? It's been here 60 days. Oh, boss, I could sell my way out of it. I can't buy that car at the auction as cheap as I'm in it. I mean, how many times you heard that? I can't buy it at the auction as cheap as I'm in it. We can sell our way out of it. No, you can't. There's a reason that car hasn't sold.
Well, some of the best advice I ever got was very early on when I felt so cool. I had been promoted. Started on the floor, went into F&I, get into sales management, and then I was given the opportunity, handed the checkbook to go to the auction and buy cars. I thought it was just, I thought I'd just hit the lottery. And I get down there and realize, wow, this is crazy. This is really hard. I was scared to death of making a mistake. The first car I'm bidding on, I realized I'm getting run up by the auctioneer because I'm looking on, there's nothing over there but a Coke machine, but the Coke machine must have been bidding. But I mean, all those things you learn. But the one thing that just kind of sticks is I got back, bought a few cars, not many, maybe 7 or 8. It wasn't a great day because I was, first time there. I was a little hesitant to pull the trigger. But I went in, and there was a couple I thought I did really, really good on. I went in, I put them on Anthony's desk. I said, look, I stole that. I stole that. And he just kind of looked at me and said, wait a second. How do you steal a car? So how many bid badges were there today? And I'm like, I don't know. There's maybe 550, 600. Okay. So out of 600 people, you paid the most for these 8 cars. How do you steal any one of these cars? And so, and I thought, wow, that's smart. And you're right. And
you paid the most.
In my point, I guess I didn't steal any of these cars, but it's just all of it when you think about the efficiencies that we can offer, and the most important part of what we're doing, and I think just this whole digital, kind of evolution that's going on is, as long as we don't have to sacrifice quality for efficiency, if we can have both, then this is going to be really good. It's going to be really good for everybody.
A 20-minute specialized auction on an app. Your car is still sitting on your lot. You're not standing in the lane. Oh, there's the CarMax guy. Oh, there's the guy. You go, oh
no. You know what also is great, Jim, is the fact, and we didn't talk about this yet, but let's talk about cash flow. Okay, because guess what? If you go to the auction right now, and let's say the car doesn't sell, and to Mike's point, it's not going to come back. We're not going to bring it back to the dealership. It's going to sit there for another week until they have another sale, right? The difference with ACV is you get us the title, you're going to be, whether it's check, ACH preferably, because we can make that happen faster, done. You're paid. So for a dealer principal that's listening, that is the number one reason to be using ACV is we're going to get your money to you faster.
Oh, sure. I worked with Larry Lewis Ford in Memphis, Tennessee back in the day. And Larry Lewis was one of the biggest dealers in the country at the time. He had the Federal Express contract for wholesale. I mean, just big. And he had an army of retired Greyhound bus drivers, because Greyhound was headquartered in that town. That would caravan his cars to the auction, bring them back. I mean, just incredible. How times have changed. That car can stay on your lot. You're not transporting it. You're not paying to have wear and tear on it. You're not taking a sun bath on the auction between auctions.
And bottom line, Jim, you're getting A-lane service and A-lane results every day, all day, regardless of where you are in the country. So being able to provide that to every seller, and then on the other side, being able to give buyers a consistent, condition report that is almost as good as being there, with assurances on the back end of it. It makes for a good, auction for both sides, buyers and sellers. And when you think about, to me, that, remember when back in F&I, Jim, because I've been back in the day, the first time I met you was at one of your F&I seminars. And what would be the first thing every dealer principal would ride their F&I manager about every single day? Contracts, right? Contracts in transit. Where's my cash?
Where's my cash? Cash flow is.
Yeah. You could have ACV inspectors in your store 3 days a week, running those trades, collecting that cash, having that A-lane type of experience with broader view, more eyes. You think about our average, and this is a great stat that I just want to share with everybody before we get too far and have to say goodbye. The average distance between our seller and our buyer is 300, roughly about 350 miles.
Okay.
So when you think about what that means for a wholesale marketplace, for a seller, you think about what that means for a buyer to be able to go wider, broader, without risking quality, right? Let us put our stamp on it. 90% of what we launch is green light. It makes for a very powerful solution to help everybody, whether they're franchise or independent.
How about the paperwork and all the behind the scenes things that go into a sale?
Oh yeah, we have a full, titles, ARBs, transportation, payments team. We have dozens and dozens of floor plan companies that we work with directly. So dealers, if you have certain floor plan that you pay, that's how you pay, we can certainly work with you on that. So really anything that you've ever done yesterday or, today with a traditional auction house, we provide on that back end, on that fixed op side of our platform.
Okay, I gotta ask Pam a question here. Okay, Pam.
Yes.
In the last couple of years, since I have, and by the way, I approached you guys. I want everybody watching this broadcast to know, ACV didn't seek me out. I sought them out because I saw what they were doing with dealers that I work with, and I was really impressed. And I am involved with them now. I'm endorsing them. I'm involved with ACV. I mean, I've never got as deeply involved with the vendor as I am with these guys because I believe in what they're doing. So what I'm going to ask you, Pam, is now the dealers out there, they get involved with ACV. They want to do business. That's crawling across the bottom of the screen, register. You'll give them all the information they need?
100%. They can actually sign up online. You go to acvauctions.com. In today's world, we're going to put Alpha Dog so we can see how much connectivity the three of us have with the rest of the world. So that's first and foremost.
That is the most
but dealers can actually
we've ever used, Pam. Let's be honest. That is the most promo code for anyone that we've ever partnered with, Jim. So Alpha Dog was a no-brainer.
Alpha Dog, run together. You can put all capital letters. You can put, I got Alpha Dog.
Yeah, any combination. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Jam together. Alpha Dog, no spaces.
That's correct.
TAWG, like Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia Bulldogs. And you guys have grown tremendously in the 2 years that I have been, knowing you. Where is this thing headed? What can we tell people? I know you got some top secret things in the mill, and I'm not going to get into the top secrets.
Well,
can I say this one thing, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
Say we are a technology company first, automotive second, and marrying those two together, lots of great stuff coming ahead.
Lots of great
even in
stuff.
2021. Yes.
So and I'll just add a little frosting onto that, Jim. I mean, there's probably a lot of folks that will watch this that have been part of what we've been doing for the last few years. They've given us some great feedback, given us some great criticism, praise, but more importantly, some new features coming out in 2021. We're really
excited. What I was asking, what new features are coming out?
Yeah. So we're
stuff we can talk about. What's coming
out? So we have some things coming out for dealer groups specifically to help them be a little more efficient internally. We also have some things coming out for all dealers in being able to get in front of their consumer opportunities faster and more efficiently. Being able to provide a real number on that car that's been vetted and run through the marketplace. And then just from the user.
Trade in, the consumer wants to trade in?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So as Pam mentioned, if you just look at every car, right, whether it's a lease return, dealer wholesale, consumer, any one of these many cars that need an inspection today, our plan is to inspect every one of those and then provide every one of our partners with either the exit strategy or the platform to provide that exit strategy, whatever the case may be for that, what the strategy is out of that car, we will be providing it. And that takes a lot of people, right? So we'll probably be hiring, if you look on any one of the, websites, Indeed or whatever, we are hiring hundreds of people at any given time. I don't foresee that stopping anytime soon. So, we're just going to keep getting bigger and offering more products to help, our dealers, continue to fight this crazy battle. And this year has been probably
you guys are a juggernaut. I have watched you just rolling over the market. It's incredible. And I'm proud to be associated with somebody as quality an organization as this is. Now, the people they go to www.acvauctions.com/register, and then they type in Alpha Dog in the pro. Are they going to get Class A service because I referred them?
They're going to get the Class A service everybody gets when they come onto the website. So, but they're going to get, your support, our support. But no, absolutely. And Jim, I just want to say before we end this, I've known you a long time, and I was basically just a snot-nosed kid when I met you for the first time. But
you certainly didn't have that. You certainly didn't have that COVID haircut you got now.
No, I didn't have my COVID haircut, and I think at that time I couldn't even grow a beard, Jim. So it's been that long. But I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and I want to thank you for reaching out to us and keeping an eye on us. Having the faith, and because I know your following knows that you've never ever done anything for the money. You've always done it for your dealers, and I think that means a lot to everybody. I know it meant a lot to me when I was on the dealer side. And, I feel very fortunate and blessed to have an opportunity to work with you again. And I know I speak for everybody at ACV.
Well, I feel the same way. I've gotten to know all the people at ACV. We've had our conferences. And I've known Stu for a long time. Some of the people we're affiliated with, just incredible. I'm telling you, right, let's recap before we get off. Let's recap. First of all, I'm talking to ACV Auctions. This is an app. I mean, it's absolutely no charge. If you are a licensed dealer, you have a tax number, and you're licensed to do business in the state, no charge unless you actually sell a unit. 20-minute auction. You can put in your wish list, and when that car comes on the block, it'll notify you. The cars look for you. The ones you're looking for come looking for you. And the most you could pay for a buy or a sell is $350. I don't know about you. I tip waitresses more than that. Come on, absolutely. I mean, we're not talking about an incredible amount of expenditure to haul the cars to an auction, let them sit a week between auctions because you didn't sell the first time. I mean, think, you're going to get a detailed inspection, detailed photographs. Look at what these people are doing for you. If you're not signed up with them, like I said at the beginning, it's a no-brainer. You have no brain, And Pam, is there anything I left out?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm just glad and very happy that you asked for us to join. So we're very happy to be here. Now, thanks for having us.
We've had about 25 people come and go on this broadcast, but when I put it all over social media and people can watch it at their own time on the replay, there'll be thousands of people that see this. And I'll put it on my private platform as well, my alphadogondemand.com. I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to send it out in a mass email. So in the next couple of days, that code Alpha Dog is forever ever golden. I mean, it's forever evergreen. Anytime you want to do it. Hey, listen, guys. Thank you for your friendship.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Okay,
happy holidays too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Yeah, to everybody. Yeah.
Before we get done, let's go ahead and put a little snow on the screen.
Put some holiday feel into it. There we go.
Hang on a minute.